Okay, in this case, what we're trying to do is find a linear function where f of 3 equals -2 and f of 8 equals 1, and get the equation for the function. So we have a couple different options here. Because it's linear, we know it's a line. We can either use the point slope form of a line or the slope intercept form of a line. They're listed below. But before we could plug into either one of those, we need to know the slope of our line first. As you can see, I've listed out our slope formula. I'm going to utilize this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 definition. Really what's given to us here, I know it's in function notation, but really these are ordered pairs. An x value of 3 gets plugged in, and a y value of -2 comes out. Or an x value of 8 gets plugged in, and a y value of 1 comes out. So what we have are, I'm going to go ahead and label these x1, y1, and x2, y2. This will help out as we're trying to fill in to our slope formula. So our slope formula, we can say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. In the numerator, we have that subtracting a negative, so that's going to be the same thing as addition. So 1 plus 2 is going to make 3. And our denominator, 8 minus 3, makes 5. So the slope of our line is going to be 3/5. Now we have options on which direction we want to go to get the actual function itself. All right, we are definitely going to plug 3/5 in for m on either one of these formulas. I'm going to walk through both of them just so you get a chance to see both directions. If I want point slope form, let's go y minus, again, I'm using that same y1 value I listed up above of -2. M, the slope that we just found, 3/5 is going to get plugged in there for m, and then x minus our x1 value from the ordered pair up above was 3. So a little reducing down, we can say this is y plus 2 equals 3/5 x minus 3. And that's the equation of our line. There is a good chance that we want to rearrange this, make it look a little bit nicer. To do so, I may go ahead and distribute. That 3/5 can come to the inside, and I can say 3/5 times x minus 3/5. I'm going to think of that as 3 over 1, so it's like a fraction, just like our 3/5 is. We're going to multiply numerators. 3 times 3 is going to make 9. And denominators, 5 times 1 makes 5. All right, to finish this up, I'll probably go ahead and get y on one side by itself by subtracting 2 from both sides. So the 2's go away on the left-hand side or make 0. So we'll get y equals 3/5 x minus 9/5. And instead of minus 2, what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to think of that as 2 over 1. I want to combine my -9/5 and my -2. So I'd like a common denominator. I'm going to multiply by 5 over 5 to accomplish that. So y equals 3/5 x minus 9/5 minus 10/5, right? 10/5 is equivalent to that 2 we were subtracting away. So y equals 3/5 x minus, we're going to keep that common denominator and combine our numerators together. So 9 plus 10, because they're both negative, makes 19. All right, the only other thing I may do on this is instead of y, because they named our function f or f of x, in place of y, I'd put maybe f of x equals 3/5 x minus 19/5. Now, that may not be your favorite way to do it with the point slope form. I think a lot of students, they memorize the slope intercept form a little bit easier, y equals mx plus b. So let's see if we can kind of fill in some information for that. What I'd do in this case is I would treat one of these ordered pairs as though it's an x value and a y value. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use the second ordered pair. Nothing important about why I'm doing that. You could use the first ordered pair just as easily, but 8 is going to be an x value and 1 is going to be a y value from that ordered pair. So into our equation, we can say y value is 1 from that point. M was 3/5 from that first calculation we did. And then x was going to be 8. Now we don't know what b is just yet, so I'm going to bring along that plus b at the end. So just use one of the 2 ordered pairs that we came up with that was given from the beginning, the 8, 1, plugged in the y value was 1, the x value was 8, and then plugged in the slope that we calculated. All right, from here, I'm going to go ahead and say That's 8 over 1 because it's being multiplied by the other fraction. Think to ourselves, we have 1 equals, multiply numerators, multiply denominators. And then we have an equation that only has that one missing component, the one variable. We don't know what b is yet. So let's work on finding b. Well, we want to subtract the 24/5 from both sides. I'm going to kind of strategically write that 1 as 5 over 5 minus 24/5 is going to give us a b. Subtracted 24/5 from both sides. We kind of wanted to strategically write that 1 with the common denominator of 5. So 5 minus 24 in the numerator makes negative 19. Keep the common denominator of 5. And we have b on the right-hand side. So plugging it back in, we could say, well, that's y equals our slope, 3/5, times x, and then plus a negative 19/5, or that's the same thing as minus 19/5. Again, you may want to rewrite it with an f of x instead of the y. But either direction you go, we'll get to the exact same answer, as you can see on both these methods. Whichever one works best for you, I'd say use it and get confident about it. All right, good luck. Hope it helps.